So how long did he say this was gonna go? I mean, what is it, 8 o'clock already? I mean...
Yeah. He did mention it was going to be a few hours. He did say there were going to be a lot of people there, to be clear.
Yeah, I did. I got to look at the guest list. I mean, obviously the heavy hitters. Santa's going to be there, the guy who makes the donuts.
Henderson.
He got the
Michael
guy who
Henderson.
makes the
donuts?
Yeah. Well, because, remember in the Dunkin' Donuts commercial how he gets out of bed and he's like, time to make the donuts, and his wife is there? Alex is apparently very familiar with the guy who makes the donuts' wife now. Mr. Caffaroni's gonna be there. Michael Henderson, DDS.
As well as there's literally gonna be dozens of people there. Listen, I mean, I think it's great that he's getting out ahead of it. I just don't think this is a fantastic turnaround, to be real with you. As his ex-campaign manager, I think this is a failing argument.
Getting out ahead of what? I stared at the guest list for a long time, but I couldn't figure out what connected these people. I was like, okay, celibacy club meeting, and of course the tagline is "Don't have sex with your wives," and then this list of guys, and I just couldn't figure out, why them, why there, why now, why at the Limbrook Christian Men's Center. Why today at 5 a.m.?
I have a couple theories. I'm not going to lie to you, but I guess he'll have to answer when he comes in. Hold on. Is that a
knock on the door? Yes, it is.
A knock on the door.
Why don't you go open it?
60 miles an hour on the southern state right now. How is this? All right.
But that's all the more reason to let them in.
All right. Oh my God!
Whoa!
Get in here! What are you?
He tucked and rolled inside, and his Vespa's rolling down the southern state now.
Ooh! Oh jeez! Oh, you guys were a killer to track down.
That was a nice Vespa.
That was a nice Vespa. That looked like the Avatar Way of Water limited edition Vespa that they're selling, only on Long Island.
Yeah, it was. But good news.
Yeah?
I saw Alex recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Is this why you desperately raced alongside the car to tell us that you ran into Alex?
Well, it's a few things. So, okay. As you know, I'm trying to still write a book. Alex came to me and he said, come to my meeting. We can talk about publishing stuff and, you can get to know a little bit, you can market, network. And he was signing autographs, so I thought I would come back here and wait for him to come back so we can have like a formal sit-down talk,
Oh, you went to... Oh, yep, there you are. You're on the Kalanji Bullock.
Wow.
Author, frequent guest of Everybody Loves Raymond, is on the guest list for Celibacy Club. I didn't know that was a lifestyle that you subscribed to, but maybe you were just using it for networking.
Yeah, Alex was very adamant about participating in the event. I mean, I'm still on the fence about it, but he...
Do you know why you were invited?
No. I don't know in particular. I thought it was for my book, to be honest.
I think, he's... if there's one thing I know about Alex's campaign up to this point is that it's been very literacy heavy. He's always saying, he's like, read the back of your buckets of whey protein to make sure that you're getting just the right amount of creatine in there. Maybe those are two different things. I don't know. As you can tell,
that's okay.
I am not a user of the substance. I get all my... Look, I have to admit, I've started eating the testosterone. It's just I needed the arm strength for the amount of lifting and lifting that I'm doing. So... Because, we're in the lab building these phone booths with tires on them. We don't need to talk about that, but it's a lot of hard work. Anyway, Kalanji, let me pull over here. There's an abandoned Borders bookstore here, so maybe you could get some inspiration from what's left. But we'll just pull into the parking lot so we can have a nice chat. Yeah. How have you been?
Yeah, wait, hold on. Stop the car. I just want to make it clear. I think my theory is I don't want this to be a question mark here. I'm pretty sure the people that Alex invited to Celibacy Club are the people whose wives he's banging.
No. ¿Por
Yeah.
qué?
Oh,
Because we know that he's banging Henderson's wife. We know
Mrs.
he's banging
Legolas.
Mrs. Claus. We know about Legolas. That's right.
Mrs. Legolas.
We know he's Mrs. Legolas.
Legolas.
He's banging both of them. He's doing good.
Wait. The Celibacy Club invitation, speaking of banging both of them, it also says bring condoms. You think he's working both sides?
Do you think that he went to Celibacy Club to have an orgy with the husbands of the wives that he's cheating on them with?
I think it's possible. I mean, why not shore up all the support that you can? It's a strategy that's working. Again, we're not supposed to be talking about this because we're trying to keep this hundreds of extramarital affairs under wraps.
Well, Kalanji's cool. He's not going to tell anybody.
Yeah, that, honestly, that made sense. Halfway through, he took off his pants and began walking on the stage saying, like, you need to have shame for what you're holding. And to get rid of that shame, you need to worship the one in front of you.
So was that when you left or what?
Yeah, is that the point where you said I got to get out of here?
What was the tipping point that made you leave early?
I left 30 minutes after that moment.
He stayed for the duration of the program.
Yeah, he was very insistent on getting my wife's number to organize a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying, well, I mean, she's just she's only one of my editors. But you're my publisher. You don't really need to talk to her. You can just talk to me. So I decided that, I wouldn't waste any more time. It was getting a little hot in the room for a few reasons. So I, left him to his business, and I was just gonna wait for him to be finished.
Yeah, we did drive past the Limbrook Christian Men's Center, which I think is when you started, chasing us on your Vespa. And the windows, they have those beautiful, gigantic windows in the front. It looks like a nice high school in Texas or something. And they're all fogged up. They are completely fogged up, and there is a smell. I'll put, the humidity.
No, I got what you're getting at. It sounds like it's been a successful campaign event. That's all that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Does Alex refer to himself as a stallion often?
I think that's in his Tinder bio.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's interesting about Alex because you wouldn't know it to listen to him in the 65 hours of podcasts that we've done. But yes, he is a very a Fabio romance novel kind of character in the way that he speaks to us privately.
His hair gets everywhere, all over the winter radio.
I'm a stallion, feel my throbbing, etc. So it's just, he just doesn't like to put that out to everyone. He's kind of shy. He needs you to get to know him before he starts exposing that part of himself to you.
I'm sorry you missed that part of it, to be honest with you, Kalanji. It sounds like you came here to get closer to Alex, but it really does seem like if you stayed behind, you would have gotten real intimate with him. But,
I mean, it sounds like, Kalanji, that it maybe is a good thing that you didn't enter into a business arrangement with somebody who's so clearly trying to have sex with you and everyone around them. That's kind of like a balance of power thing that I don't think is so cool. So I think the way that you're keeping him at sort of a safe distance is probably a good strategy. I will say, Mike, you were writing that manifesto. Did you ever find a publisher for that?
No, can't say I have.
Okay, but you got contacts in the industry, right?
First of all, it was I believe I referred to it as a textbook. I still take issue with the manifesto designation.
I believe it was a scroll.
It was indeed a scroll, but I was writing the truths about how the Earth was flat, and I don't appreciate the manifesto moniker.
Well, but I guess what I'm asking is, do you have a list of contacts that you can give to Kalanji to find a publisher?
Sure. Yeah. Just don't tell them who gave you the contact, because most of them currently want me dead.
Yeah, you are.
That's it.
You are blackballed in many respects.
Yeah. I was Mike D back then. I'm now Mike F after 2 witness exchange program visits.
Witness exchange program.
So, yeah.
Not protection.
Shut up.
Well, I did one of those in high school. I did a witness exchange program where I saw the mafia kill somebody. And I went over to Italy and I traded with a guy who saw the mafia kill somebody over there. And I went to his high school for a little bit. in Naples.
Yeah, it really, believe it or not, like, it really does actually do a very good job of putting these people behind bars because you can say this, you can say similar stuff. It's on the stand. It's great.
It does put the witness in danger though, because it is a 1-for-1 exchange where you get all of their documents, you get their name, their family, their etc. So I mean, I never saw Antonio ever again after I came back. When I went over, we shook hands at the airport and it was a whole big thing. But then on the way back, they just quickly ushered me through. So I don't know what happened to Antonio. I try not to think about it.
Okay. Well, regardless, yeah, just don't like. I got Dylan, this flat Earth guy, this flat earther that's a big publisher. He works at Penguin.
Oh, I didn't realize Dylan was a big publisher.
Oh yeah. No, he was the guy.
I thought he was just an insane person who hung out in a Starbucks bathroom.
Okay, once again, take issue with the term insane, but everything else about that is pretty descriptive.
Okay, well, yeah, just give him those contacts, I think, so he doesn't... I just think Alex is spread a little thin right now with the campaign. Yeah. You know, it's really neck and neck with his main opponent, Tyrone Dickey, so I wouldn't want him to, have to figure out how to start a publishing house all of a sudden.
At the moment, he's spread a little thick right now.
Hey, yo.
But speaking of which, thank you for the contact list. I didn't expect it to be written on... this, let's call it parchment.
Oh no,
very, very, very toilet paper in quality, but it's pretty good.
Mike got, when he first started writing this thing, he went down to BJ's, which was not what he thought it was, and he just got a huge amount of parchment. He got such a deal on Scott's parchment, which is not good parchment. It's 1-ply. So we're just lousy with the stuff. Please take it. Please take these Marie Barone Funko Pops. We just...
No. Those are collectibles. Hold on.
We need to get rid of these. We could be going so much faster.
Yeah, but they're collectibles.
I was wondering how I caught up to you guys so easily.
Yeah. We can't go above 60.
It's literally physically impossible for us to go above 60 with this, Costco level supply of Marie Barone Funko Pops. But by the way, that reminds me. So, you how is your book going? You typically come on when you
actually, Mike, maybe Kalanchi should just be a guest. I don't think Alex is coming. It sounds like he's tied up. Maybe Kalanchi should just be a guest on the show. Do you think we should boot up the Lenovo and start recording?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, actually, yeah.
Okay, so I just got to plug it in.
Are you good for that, Kalanchi? You okay to stay around?
Yeah, I was planning on it. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to plug it in. I need, Mike, if you'll just hold these two wires together, the copper parts, there we go.
Yeah, just intertangle, there you go. Ow.
All right, there we go. And press R to record. And okay. Welcome back to Everybody Loves Raymond. I'm Adam. I'm here with Mike F. And unfortunately, Alex Shear is not here today, but our good friend and author Kalanchi Bullock is rejoining us for another episode. We're going to be talking about Season 2, Episode 19. It's called Good Girls of Everybody Loves Raymond. But first, what would be good for these girls, pointing to Mike and myself, to know would be, Kalanchi, how have you been? Have you kept in touch with Raymond since your last appearance on, I believe, Season 2, Episode 5 of this show? Answer now, please.
I have not kept in contact with the Raymond, but everything's been going well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, me and Ray have had a bit of a falling out, but as all the good things fall apart, they have to come back together.
Oh, well, I like that.
Now.
And that happens
I believe this is your third appearance on the show, right?
Yes.
So this makes you officially the most frequent guest on Everybody Loves Raymond. You're our number one guy.
Wow. Thanks. This is a big honor, honestly.
That's an honor for us.
Yeah.
Can I get that printed on a parchment and hung up in my office?
Yeah.
Please.
That's fine. It's just a matter of
Stop.
the next time someone comes on and takes your title, we have to take it from you and hand it to them.
Mike, stop being jealous with the parchment, please. Just give him
It's no.
give everyone a
You don't
certificate,
understand.
please.
The parchment is also collectible.
Don't think it is. I think you were
It's
lied
got
to.
little Marie's in the corner.
Really? That
They're
is
like
actually
holding the page numbers.
that is pretty rare. I didn't realize that. But Kalanji, speaking of you're an author, and last time you were here, you told us that you were working on a fantasy novel, correct? But had not yet found a way to incorporate Ray Barone, the character, or Ray Romano, the man, into it. Has that changed? And if not, why not? And when will you do that?
It has changed. I've used Ray as an archetype for one of the characters.
Really?
You could call him the dad of humanity, kind of something like that, right? And he's selfish. He's that's really the biggest quality I could talk about. He's selfish, very self-centered. It has a middling appreciation of his kids. I think hopefully
You're
he'll be
being a
funny
little
too.
hard on Raymond here. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Hey, listen. We'll get into the episode later.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But no, what I wanted to share was I have a title.
Ooh.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah. Hit us with that title.
This is a stand-in, so it could change. I don't think it will. But it's titled Sunbreaker.
Sunbreaker.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a nice one, dude. I like that title.
Wow,
Thank you. It's
That's
done well in focus
gets
groups.
catchy. Kind of badass.
that's more than being indifferent to your kids. That's actively being violent. Breaking your son?
Okay.
Is it SON space or is it SUN?
It's SUN.
Oh, okay. That's better.
Yeah.
That sounds
I feel
cool.
like that's more detrimental to humanity as a whole, though, to break the sun.
Yeah, it's I don't want to spoil anything, but
Okay.
that is one of the questions that should be answered.
Sunbreaker.
Yeah.
What if you did a spin-off after, let's say you finish this book and it's great and whatever. What if you do a spin-off called Sunbreaker 19 and it's about truck drivers driving across this great country of ours while also, I presume, shooting guns at the sun?
Honestly, we could set it in Alaska and just make it ice highway truckers to avoid any copyright.
Ice street truckers.
Nice. Street truckers. I love it. Well,
I
that's
love
very
it.
exciting, Kalanji.
As long as truckers get in there. But yeah, that is incredibly exciting that you have a title. You've got at least one good character. I can't speak to the other characters, but it sounds like one of them is really great and compelling. We're so excited. How close are you to being finished with it?
Book one. Book one is like 15% like actually written. Most of it is at least conceptually planned out, and then half of it is like actually planned out.
I see. So it's a what is that called? It's
there
like
are layers to this.
successive outlines as you get closer and closer to being done.
Yeah.
Cool.
Gotcha. Wow, that's awesome.
So it sounds like there is room in the story for, the characters going to Long Island and maybe moving across the street from their mom, and guess who lives over there but their brother, who is a cop, and
This is sounding like one of the great stories ever told.
It is. There's plenty of room for that, and that's what I think book 3 is going to be centered on. Away from all the the sun-breaking aspect of it, you gotta have time to sit down and settle with the family to see what you might lose.
Yeah. In case people don't remember from previous appearances, what exactly is your book about? In case people are just confused by you saying, aside from the sun-breaking aspects of it, give us the elevator pitch, the synopsis.
The elevator pitch has changed mostly, but it's about Aster learning about kind of the secrets of his world and slowly uncovering like what's really going on. That would be like a more apt description. And there's still, blood magic, sword fighting, all that. But the focus has shifted.
Blood magic conspiracy. I love it. Yeah. That's awesome.
It sounds like a fantasy novel, but with elements of maybe like a psychological thriller, discovering the secrets of his world and things not being what they appear.
I also love that it also bears some elements of a 90s sitcom. So I think that also is the strength of it. Well, Kalanji, it sounds like it's going to be... just the studio audience that interrupts every line.
What if can you please do this? Get your book, put in between each page one of those little, like, those cards where it'll play like Viva Las Vegas or something when you open it. Do that, but it's perfectly timed.
That's a great idea.
For the average reader to reach like a joke or something surprising or people kissing. So they open it and it's like, oh, I'm reading. Ooh! Right? That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
I think that will work really well for like an audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
I think
for an audiobook, you don't even need... Well, if it's an audiobook, how are you going to turn the page to start it? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, listen. These are kinks that we can work out later. The idea is there. It's just kind of just making it work.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like if anyone can make it work, it's you, and it sounds like this book is going to be fantastic. But what do you say we take a short break, and then we come back and we talk about Season 2, Episode 19 of Everybody Loves Raymond. It's called Good Girls, and it might be as good as your book, and the only way to find out is if we do that. How does that sound, guys?
That sounds great.
Sounds, lovely.
All right, then we'll be right back after this with Good Girls. Let's do a relationship. The relationship is... It was Twitch streamer / fan. Oh my! Excuse me. Are you Cumbucket25?
That's me. How do you know?
I can't believe it. I watch you all the time. I was just walking here. I was, picking out which Hormel microwavable dinner I was going to eat tonight here in this Cumberland Farms, and I saw you and I was like, that's Cumbucket.
All right, that's really nice. Have you ever donated to me?
I unfortunately
have I ever read your name? Have I ever seen a little ding that says $5 from Shitstealer42? Because that's what I assume you look like. You look like a shit stealer.
Well,
the 42nd one, to be clear.
I couldn't get Shitstealer 42. I'm Shitstealer 43. Unfortunately, I tried to pay the guy, but he wouldn't. But no, I'm sorry. I haven't. I really like what you do, but all my money is tied up, actually, in something else, and I don't have the liquidity.
What could it possibly be tied up in that you that you don't have $5 to throw at your favorite streamer as he goes through Google Maps and guesses the random locations on planet Earth?
Yeah,
GeoGuessr. You're familiar with my streams. What's your problem here? What are you confused about?
Your name is Cumbucket25, and you pick random points on Google Maps.
I played GeoGuessr. Yeah, that's the meta right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I'm going through a terrible divorce right now, and the judge mandated that my income be split in 3. So a third I keep, a third goes to my wife, and every 2 weeks I give a third of my income to this. It's stupid. It's called the Baroness Zonus.
The Baroness Zonus? Tell me more about that.
Well, it's this podcast, Everybody Loves Raymond, and they have this thing where you can pay what you want. It doesn't have to be a recurring basis like I'm forced to do by law. It can be one time, $1, whatever, not necessarily $7,000 every 2 weeks. I'm very wealthy. But you get a extra episode of Everybody Loves Raymond every month. just by going to postfund.org/donate. So it's pretty great. It's worth it. I wish I didn't have to do it by law. Like, I feel like I've given them enough already, but...
And I'm gonna be honest with you. I love the Barone Boys. I'm a big fan of Everybody Loves Raymond. When I don't want to listen to my Twitch chat, I just pop them on my headphones and I just nod along to the game as I yell out Indonesia every time I click the next button. But I gotta be honest. So wait, do I have to pay $7,000?
No.
2 weeks? Is that the rule?
You can pay as little as $1 one time. Or anything, $5 a month, $10 a month, $5 one time. There's endless, truly limitless combinations. The only thing you cannot do is pay less than $1. For whatever reason, the technology just isn't there yet. Believe me, I've written them letters. I've written letters to the judge about this. But you any amount, any frequency. I can't stress this enough. I'm being forced to do this by law.
Well, I'm gonna sign up for the bonus bonus right now. I don't know about you. That sounds like a great time.
Okay.
But you know what? I would love to know more of the details about how the Everybody Loves Raymond podcast somehow made its way into your divorce hearings. But at the same time, I don't care that much about you as a human being, as you've never sent me money.
Well, if you must know, Alex from that podcast?
Yeah.
He was fucking my wife. Welcome back to Everybody Loves Raymond. We're talking about Season 2, Episode 19. Today, it's called Good Girls. Before we get into it, you just heard an ad for the Baroness Zonus. I want to give a quick shout out to Christian, who donated to PostFund at postfund.org/donate and received lifetime access to the Baroness Zonus. We thank them for their contribution. Very generous. And of course, Christian, we love you. Now, moving on.
Christian's awesome.
Yeah. Now moving on, let's talk about Good Girls, our overall impressions of the episode. Kalanji Bullock is here. Kalanji, what was your overall impression of what is now your third episode of Everybody Loves Raymond that you've covered on this show?
This was probably my favorite episode, and I think I said this about the last one too. It was a pretty good episode.
You've been getting good ones.
What was the last one you saw?
Golf.
Was it? Oh, it was golf. Okay,
yeah.
That was a good one too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. This is I love this episode. But what stood out to you? What'd you like? What'd you dislike?
I guess I don't want to call the jokes formulaic or anything. But it was really standard setup, delivery, punchline. And all is there were so many hits. It I was laughing probably when everything went to shit at the end of the episode. It was pretty funny. It was pretty good too. I didn't expect. I thought there was gonna be a moral lesson, and there was just no. It was just we're gonna make you laugh. And it was good.
It's just the moral of the story was Robert's life is fucking awful. That was the moral of the story.
That's true.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Great, Mike.
I also thought it was a very strong episode. Yeah. Very, very funny. What a weird family we have. Oh my God. The Barones are just strange, boundaryless people. And I love when they play that up as they did here. Overall, very, very strong episode. We'll talk about Ray's performance later on in the episode. A lot of moral... Well, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. We'll say moral question marks, but it was a lot. I really did like this episode. This was very, very strong.
Yeah.
How about you, Adam? What are your thoughts?
I agree. I think this episode hits all of the show's strengths, right? We've got the family dynamics, each pair of people. We've talked about this before. Ray, Robert, Marie, Deborah, Marie, Frank, all of those dynamics get played very well throughout the episode. The competition between Ray and Robert, Marie jabbing at Deborah, and then the switch in the middle of the episode to where now Marie loves Deborah, and we can appreciate the change there. And then just Marie and Frank having great little lines in between. The way that everything unravels in the final scene is quintessential Raymond. I feel like it's as heightened as this show can get, where all of the dysfunction comes spilling out of the family at once. It's just it might be one of my favorite. I'm maybe I won't say that. It is one of the best ones that we've seen so far, I think, hands down. And that's proof to people who listen to this show that we do like this show. We love it, and we love Raymond, etc.
We are everybody in the Everybody Loves Raymond.
We're the titular everybody that loves Everybody Loves Raymond. Yes.
Yes.
But yeah, just a fantastic episode. I really enjoyed it. So let's start going scene by scene through it then. The cold open is Ray and Robert on the couch as Deborah and Amy enter with shopping bags. Robert immediately springs up to get Amy's bag from her as Deborah is struggling with... I didn't get a good look at what was poking out of the bag there. It looked like it might be like a waffle maker or some like kitchen appliance or something. But she's struggling with a very heavy bag.
I don't think it was groceries. At first I thought it was, and I saw like something in plastic sticking out. And I was like, I guess they went to the mall.
And Deborah says, as, you know, Robert is being very helpful to Amy, "It's okay, Ray, I've got it." And Ray sort of...
He stands up, grabs the bags, and throws them onto the couch, and that's it. And I thought that was very funny.
Robert is being very sweet to Amy. Meanwhile, Ray gives Deborah like the most cursory hug that he can. There you go. Pats her on the back and turns to Robert.
But Adam, you don't understand. The game is on.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, this is classic selfish Ray. This is very sitcom dad. The game's on. I can't be nice to my wife. No, you know what? You're right. It's not like that trope. It's specific to Ray being lazy and selfish.
I was also thinking it's specific to they do have a lot of humor with Amy and the honeymoon phase of their relationship versus the, you know, several years down the line relationship part of the relationship. And I think that's what they were trying to highlight there. Yeah,
I think you have a point there. Ray turns to Robert and says, "You're killing me, man." You know, because you're loving your girlfriend. What
a selfish asshole.
Yeah, we don't get thankfully a opening anti-gravity introduction this
Praise
time.
The Lord.
We cut straight to the next scene, which is Ray in the kitchen, looking in the refrigerator, presumably for another ginger ale. We saw him with one on the couch, by the way. I meant to point that out.
Canada Dry.
Canada Dry, not a sponsor, no matter how hard we try. Ray's
Did you want to say something, Kalanji?
I was thinking this whole time, I was like, that everything you're describing just did not happen in the episode that I watched.
Did you watch the right episode?
Yeah, I did, because it starts here. It starts with them in the kitchen, and Marie comes in and that scene happens, but the scene beforehand is just like a white from what I watched. And this happened, I believe, the last time.
We've heard
Did you watch it on YouTube or Peacock?
I watched it on YouTube through a Paramount Plus subscription.
Well, that's interesting that if that's the version that's on Paramount Plus, because we've heard this before from a couple people that a lot of the cold opens have been cut out on various platforms, and Peacock seems to be the only one that has them completely intact. But if that's the version that's on Paramount Plus, then those have the cold opens edited out as well. Which is a public service announcement. Don't watch this show on Paramount Plus because you're missing killer cold opens. Wow, that's interesting.
Like this one.
Yeah. I was like, wow, that actually adds a lot of context to what happens later in this episode. Interesting.
I mean, a little bit, not a ton. There's like one joke I think that lands differently, and that's kind of it.
It is.
No, I'll bring it up later when it comes up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It is the only scene until the final one of Robert and Amy together, though, which I think is important context.
That's interesting.
But anyway, yeah, Ray's in the kitchen. Deborah walks in. She smells that. She says, "You burnt the popcorn again, didn't you?" And then Ray says, yeah, but that one's easy. You'll never guess what I spilled, or something to that effect. Marie enters at that point, smells the burnt popcorn. This is a great Marie line. Another dinner get away from you, dear? And then Deborah says it was popcorn. And Marie, the great tag on this. Oh, popcorn for dinner. How fun. That's such a great joke.
It's a great bit.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And they're going back. Deborah's about to explain, no, Ray burnt popcorn, but then Marie sees Amy and she's thrilled. She's so nice to Amy. She's like fawning over her. She gave Amy this like pin that she's wearing. And Robert comes over and he hugs them both. And he's like, I call them my two musketeers. And then Ray says, that's stupid.
Which it is.
Which is funny.
It is very stupid.
And then Marie invites Amy over for coffee. And they and Robert leave. Marie, Amy, and Robert leave. They're all smiling and laughing. Robert is like, it seems like Robert's putting it on a little bit to rub it in Ray's face. And then Deborah and Ray, I think do we have a beat of them just looking after them like that was weird, or is there a line there that I didn't write down?
I don't think we did. That doesn't ring a bell. I will say that. I'm not 100% sure.
So.
All right. So they, Marie, Amy, and Robert then leave, all smiling and laughing. We cut to later. Frank and Robert are in the Barone kitchen, and Ray comes in. He's like, "What's the emergency?" Frank called him over because he needs Ray and Robert to hold up the range hood so he can fix the oven. And Ray says, "That's the emergency? Next time you better be in labor." Pretty funny line.
Yeah, that's an alright line.
But
that's fine.
The reason that the oven needs to be fixed is because Marie is letting Amy cook dinner in her kitchen. Robert is gloating about how momentous this is. Ma never lets anyone cook in her kitchen. And he and Ray argue about this. Ray claims Deborah's cooked there before, and they get Frank involved. And Frank, whose head has been in the oven, Robert knocks on the range hood. He pulls his head out. He says, "Don't get me involved in this." Yeah, I don't want to be involved in this stupid argument. Your mother likes Amy better than Deborah. End of story. And Ray is taken aback at this, as if somehow he hadn't realized up to this point.
I just love how zero shits Frank gives the entire time. Just like, yeah, what do you want? That's how it goes.
Yeah. Ray's like, I can't believe this, and Rob says that they talk every day for hours. This Frank is reminiscing about this. I guess he's Amy talks her out. Marie sometimes goes days without saying a word to me. I love Amy. Classic Frank hating his wife dynamic.
Yeah, true. I was just gonna say that I did like the recurring bit of the knocking on the hood and that injuring Frank. I thought that was a good bit of physical comedy. We kind of touched on it, but I just loved the idea of like he's now involved in the pipe, and so when you hit the pipe, you hit Frank. I thought that was
has that happened before, or is that going to happen again?
No. I'm just saying that we got like 3 of those moments, and I thought they were funny. Yeah. That's all. Yeah. That I think was the most physical bit that we had, like the most slapstick kind of thing. But when I was thinking about it, unless you count Deborah's the chorus line rendition in the next scene.
Oh yeah, that's pretty funny. I was thinking about like, that was the one thing that wasn't in this episode that this show does really well is like physical gags, but that is a good physical gag. So again, there's just more evidence that this is
ones, but yeah.
This is just one of the most like complete representative quintessential Raymond episodes.
Yes.
So we cut to Ray coming home. Immediately thereafter, apparently Deborah's on the couch, and he tells Deborah that Frank wanted him to come over and help fix the oven because Amy is cooking over there. Deborah is not fazed by this. Ray, trying to get her to talk about this, he turns the TV off. He says, "Why does the TV have to be on all the time? Can't we just talk?" And Deborah's like, "Okay, now I'm concerned." He asks Deborah if she wishes she could cook over there in Marie's kitchen, And Deborah says, that might be the dumbest thing you've ever said. Marie doesn't like it when I cook over here. They argue about it for a little bit, or, raised voices at least. Deborah doesn't care. Ray flips out and tells her that Marie likes Amy more than her. Deborah is surprised, but she, again, is like, whatever. And Ray tells her, you should care. Robert was gloating about it. The way that Robert was rubbing it in my face. And Deborah, it clicks for her. She realizes that he's just jealous of Robert because their mom likes his girlfriend more than she likes Ray's. And I think this is a really funny turn in this scene because she starts making fun of him. This competitiveness. We've got a lot of work to do if we're going to catch up. And she does a whole riff about, like beauty pageant, like talent competition, swimsuit. She walks off. She sings One from the musical A Chorus Line, and sashays up the stairs. Yeah.
It was good. Don't get me wrong. I really did enjoy this bit. But I also will say that just the audience absolutely went bonkers for it. Like the studio audience, like as soon as she did the final like bum idiot, like she just walked up the stairs, everybody in the audience applauded, and I thought that was that was interesting. I mean, it was good. It was funny.
Yeah. This is actually the scene that I would have liked the cold open for, because it kind of like sets the tone, like, oh, for the episode, this is gonna be a selfish Ray episode. So
I see.
Yeah, I see.
I think that would be fine. Well, I mean, it works either way. It worked for me, and I didn't get to see it, but I think I would have liked to see it.
Yeah, you're right. That does make that connection of
that's a critique of Paramount, not of the show.
Right. To be clear,
the show tried.
Let's be honest.
We can stop the hate in the comments. We love Raymond. We hate Paramount Plus.
Oh no! Now the Tulsa King fans are gonna come smash our windows.
Oh no!
But yeah, no. The show, they tried. They wrote and filmed that scene. It's up to Paramount for not putting it up.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. That makes because you see that like competition between Ray and Robert in the cold open of, Robert's relationship is still in, like Mike was saying, this honeymoon phase, whereas Ray is like, oh, I guess I gotta, put some effort into it so that Deborah doesn't feel left out. Yeah, good point. But Deborah sashays up the stairs. Ray says, you can forget about Miss Congeniality. And then he goes and sits back down on the couch. Marie enters.
Marie arrives
to tell Ray about the dinner and that Amy is cooking, and it's so exciting. And he tells her that Robert already told him. And so
it's a huge deal, yeah.
He sits her down.
It to be a big deal.
But Ray sits her down, and he's like, I want to ask you, why do you like Amy more than Deborah? And he says that Frank told him. Marie immediately says he's lying. This the rest of this scene is very funny. Did you say that you like Amy more than Deborah? I am not saying that.
That was so funny.
But did you say it ever? And then silence. What if I told you that we have a tape of you saying it, Mom? And then just the look on her face. Doris Roberts absolutely kills it in this scene.
She always does.
She demands, give me the tape. There is no tape. Then you don't have any proof at all. And she gets up and is going to storm out. But Ray is like, why don't you like Deborah? Marie says she loves Deborah, but she and Amy get along so well. Amy is a very nice girl, She's very nice. Very good girl. She's a good girl. Good. Pure. And then Ray realizes that Amy, you mean she's never... And then, yes.
Genuine question. They say sex a lot on this show.
They do.
I feel like they've said virgin a few times on this show.
They said it later in this episode, actually.
Yeah, in a different context, but they say it. Why? What? They're not going for a PG rating here. Why don't they just say she's never boned? I don't understand.
I can answer that.
In those exact words.
Yeah, it's because, like, I think the comedy that they were going for in this episode was, like, how can we challenge ourselves to go as far to say to not like to have as many innuendos as we can.
Okay.
Like later in the scene, Ray says, Amy has never let anyone cook in her kitchen, and that was hilarious. Just like
that was a funny line.
Yeah,
You're right.
Like, just like they're just. I think they were really intentional about trying to be clever.
Yeah.
With and it worked really well.
I think that's a good point, and it provides a contrast, I think, with everyone being so careful about it for the rest of the episode, and then Frank just coming out and saying, at the end,
sex. Yeah.
Yeah. Frank definitely feels more vulgar.
Yeah.
Very much so.
The latter half of the episode
doesn't. Yeah, exactly.
Ray says, she's 33 years old, Ma. How can that be? That's so, and Marie says, refreshing. And then, yes, that's when we get the line from Ray. So Amy's never let anyone cook in her kitchen either. And then we get a laugh from the audience, beat. Yeah. And then Marie in what is a catchphrase but has not been used so many times.
It's a catchphrase.
I don't like that, Raymond.
She's got you hungry and I don't like that, Raymond. Those are her two big lines.
Yeah, I think maybe we've seen I don't like that, Raymond twice before, but it's not like something that she says every episode, like you hungry.
Yeah, but it's any time that she is around for a dirty joke. That's when we get that line.
Yeah, and it is funny. It's the sort of like cold towel that it puts over the joke. Is a good like comedic touch. Ray asks Marie how she knows that Deborah wasn't, when they got married. And Marie says, you mean Deborah was a good girl? And then a long pause to fade. Like, that's the end of the scene. Like, we know that Ray is caught in this lie and is going to have to lie further.
It kind of reminded me of, this might be a very specific reference. If this isn't funny, Adam, cut it out, but I think it is, so I'm going to do it anyway.
We'll see.
There was a bit on the Colbert Report that Colbert would do anytime he was parodying the Bachelor, and so he was like, he showed a clip, and you know how the Bachelor does the thing where it's like the person says, I give this rose 2, and there's a solid minute and a half of dead air as they zoom in on every individual's face before he says, Bertha, and he gives the flower over, or whoever it is. Colbert did that, but it was like he brought out 2 people and was like, let's see who's going to be my guest tonight. I have this rose 4, and it was dead silent. Same thing, zoom in, and then just we'll be right back faded into the corner, and it cut to commercial. And I've never laughed as hard at a show as that at that point in my life. So it just reminded me of that bit.
I think it was just great storytelling. Like, we don't really need to use these extra seconds to show him lying. Like, Raymond, know what he's gonna do.
That's very the strength of where it is in its run, is like we're starting to get to know Raymond. We know that he's lying, and we know that he's caught in a lie and how Ray behaves when he's caught in a lie, which is to lie more. So we cut to, when we come back from what was a commercial break, Ray and Deborah in the bedroom. And he tells her that he talked to Marie and he apologizes for being competitive with Robert and that Deborah was right, etc. And Deborah says, yeah, you're right. Who cares what your mom thinks? And Ray is like, in fact, you should hear the reason that she likes Amy more than you. He says, you know how Amy has never... Deborah is like, that's supposed to be a secret, but Ray says she told Marie knows, and that's why she likes her more.
Hold on, actually, let me put a pause on this for a second here. Have we calculated Ray and Deborah's ages before?
Oh, I'm sure we have, or we've at least figured out when they got married.
We have done that. The reason why I ask is because Amy is revealed to be 33 years old. Amy is Deborah's best friend. Are they the same age or similar ages? For some reason, I thought Ray and Deborah were older than 33, but maybe I'm just wrong.
Well, also,
we don't need to do a deep dive. I just wanted to know if that was on the docket.
I think it's just like they have a lot of stuff for someone that's like 30.
Mm-hmm.
That it just doesn't, like, my brain can't wrap around, like, oh, wait, do you have like a full house, 2 cars?
Well, they got a
Three
good
kids.
deal on the.
Yeah, 3 kids, yeah.
Yeah.
They got a good deal on the house, given the neighbors. That was established in season 1. But yeah, I don't know. And keep in mind as well that Robert is older than Ray inherently.
True.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, Robert could be like 36, 37, like,
Yeah.
and that wouldn't be a weird relationship
No,
at
you're
all,
right.
you know?
I don't know. We just haven't figured that out yet. We'll have to go deep on the information that I bet it's on the Raymond wiki.
I'll look that up while we continue talking about things.
Okay, yeah, you're in charge of that. Try to figure that out. Yeah, she says, you know how Amy has never, and Deborah says that's supposed to be a secret, and he says, well, Marie knows, and that's why she likes her better. Deborah's, I would describe as amusedly surprised. She's like, well, I can't exactly compete with that. You can't unring a bell, and they laugh about it. And then as they're laughing, Ray says, and also, I told my mother that you were a good girl too. And still laughing.
Deborah finds this hilarious. Yeah.
How does she think we got the kids? And Ray says, I mean, before. And that just shuts it down. Deborah doesn't think it's so funny anymore. Because I guess it took me a second to parse this. I guess she thought that Ray was joking to Marie in the initial thing. And then now it's not so funny because it's a lie about Deborah to Marie.
Yeah. And especially especially because it's like, this is just so deeply something that is not Marie or anyone else's business.
Oh, yeah.
That, I feel like if you're going to tell a lie about Deborah's past or something like that, that would be one thing. But my God, just like the idea that is something that anybody would ever want to know about, I don't know, man. By the way, I did look it up. I did find out that Ray was born in 1959. So Ray Barone, the character, was born in 1959. So if this takes place in the year 1998, which is when it debuted,
we know exactly when this takes place. April 6th, 1998.
That means that, well, we don't know his birthday, so I'm going to assume that his birthday is pre-April 6th. But in that calculation, Ray is 39 years old. So,
really?
Wow.
Yeah, Deborah might be, and Robert is 4 years older than that. So Robert could be a solid 10 years older than Amy, or is a solid 10 years older than Amy.
That is surprising. I wouldn't think that they would all be that old.
And actually, Deborah is a year older than Ray, so she's 40 in this episode.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Where did she meet Amy?
At work.
They used
to work
at work, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Public relations firm together. That's surprising. I would think they were, I thought they were like 35.
Oh, well, you know what? Maybe this timeline just doesn't add up or maybe the Raymond wiki is lying to me because I looked up Amy McDougal and she, according to this, she was born 1956, which would put her at 43, not 33.
Does the Raymond wiki count their ages at the end of the run?
No, they put their birthdays up there.
Oh, okay.
Like I have Amy Louise McDougal Barone, spoiler alert, but that she's born January 29th, 1956.
Oh, of course, yeah.
That's 33, Mike. No, you're right.
98. We're in 98.
You're right.
Don't do this to me.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so either the show takes place in 1988, and we're on a 10-year delay the whole time, or that was like retconned at some point. Or
the people writing the Raymond wiki just aren't using real information.
That's also true.
Which I don't mean to start a war with the Raymond wiki people, but I just
I'm sure that they already love us, given our reverence for the show.
It is hilarious to me. Don't get me wrong. We genuinely do love the show, but it is hilarious to me how many hate letters we get about how these people hate hate Raymond.
After the first round of hate comments that you guys got on the Reddit. I haven't looked at it since then.
That's fine. That's fine.
No, but the fact that you get more is, I don't want you guys to get hate comments, but I find them very funny every time you do.
I kind of want to keep getting hate comments because, like, I love being able to tell people as my fun fact. I've had strangers on the internet, tell me to die in a hole because I don't love Raver. Like,
just like
I don't know.
My thing is like, oh, come on, like, you see us doing this show. You guys do the show supposedly once a week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would you spend this much time and effort into a show that you did not enjoy?
I don't know.
It's a great question.
Because Limbrook University and the Will and Belinda Bates Foundation, no relation, is paying us to rate Ray Barone on a scale from 1 to 10.
And they're apparently giving extra credit to kids.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I have something when we get back to the episode.
Okay, let's go back.
Okay, let's go back to the episode.
All right, so we'll have to pay attention to dates, ages, years as we proceed through this to find out at what point it all went to shit. But anyway, so we cut to Ray and Deborah arriving at Marie's kitchen. Robert welcomes them to La Cucina dell'Amy, the Amy's kitchen in Italian. Marie greets Ray.
I was so confused.
Marie greets Ray sort of perfunctorily, as warmly as she always does, but then she lovingly greets Deborah. She's like, "Oh, Deborah, so great to see you." She brings her over to the stove and asks for her opinion on the sauce. And Deborah tastes it and says, "What's your secret? Extra virgin olive oil?" Ha ha ha. Marie.
Emphasis on virgin.
Yes.
Oh,
indeed.
I did want to make a note for this scene.
Yeah.
It starts with Ray coming into the kitchen and saying, "Hey, we had to wait for the babysitter."
That's true.
That's a point that's a point. He's a good dad. He waited with his kids.
Also will say, yeah, he didn't abandon his children. Wonderful. But also, I will say, I meant to mention this earlier, and again, this doesn't make any difference, but I did like how the twins were just kind of in the background in a playpen, just like kind of goofing around. And I wonder what the contract says, because why would you take these kids out of school or nursery or whatever they're doing to come in and just kind of push each other in a playpen, having nothing to do with the actual show?
Realism.
I wonder what or if there was like a contract that said, no, we're paying you for 18 episodes or whatever it is. We're getting the kids for that amount of time.
Might be. Allie's not in this episode, though, and she has lines. Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll have to contact the legal department at CBS on that one, see if we can find the old contracts. But, no, that's a good point. I actually didn't notice that the twins were in this at all.
They were in the cold open. I think they make an appearance at one other point too, but it's only background. It's never like actual stuff.
Interesting. But I wonder who they got to babysit. And also I wonder why they weren't invited over to this family dinner. But
they probably got Andy.
I hope not. Here's who I don't want watching those kids: Andy, Bernie, let's throw Kevin in there. Like,
who's the guy that's dead? Leo. Leo. Yeah, maybe Leo's just the designated babysitter from now on.
Leo's body.
Yeah.
So Marie sort of ushers Ray and Robert out, and Deborah's about to go with them, but she asks Deborah to stay, help them cook. Amy compliments Deborah's haircut, and Marie is like, "Oh wow, yes, it's such a beautiful haircut." Deborah says, "That's me, good haircut for a good girl, good," smacking a knife on the table. And then Ray ushers her out, sensing the building tension and resentment. Frank and Robert are on the couch eating Amy's garlic rounds. Is that what? That's what I wrote down.
Yeah,
never heard of that.
There were garlic rounds with an olive, cheese, and I assume garlic somewhere on there, on crackers.
Okay.
I suppose. Why not?
I just wasn't sure. They're eating Amy's garlic rounds. Marie comes in and tells Deborah that they should make a big dinner together. This is so fun. Have we ever, when was the last time we did this? And Deborah says, we've never cooked together. Marie says we should make a big dinner for the family. Deborah can even make her lemon chicken. I love your lemon chicken. And that's what snaps Ray. Ray's fed up. He's, stop it, Ma, just stop it. Stop being nice to Deborah. She's being nice for the wrong reasons. He says, Deborah can't cook. And he reveals to her that Deborah wasn't a good girl when they got married. Frank says,
I also will. Yeah. I want to back up a minute to the beginning of the scene when Ray rushes Deborah out of the kitchen. I apologize.
Please.
I know we went back, but it was a note that I made in my head of just the ridiculousness. I believe the line was Deborah saying, "Wow, she's being so nice to me," and Ray's response was, "I'm sorry." And I just like, first of all, the delivery of the lines from both Patricia Heaton and Ray Romano were great, but I just loved that lot. Like, you could, like, no context, just clip that scene and put it in an acting class, and like you would still be able to understand the importance of I just love that. Yeah,
high praise. That line didn't have any impression on me at all because I didn't write it down, but I believe that I missed something good there. This whole episode is like very well acted. Like, there's a lot of nuance. Once certain people know certain things and other people don't, and then they discover them, and etc. Very good acting. Frank asks, Ray reveals that Deborah wasn't a good girl when they got married. Frank asks, what does that mean? And then he realizes, oh, then who cares about the cooking? And he smacks Ray on the ass. Which is, that's a lot of camaraderie there.
Horribly sexist, my God. But like,
just a lot of, yeah. Ray tells Marie off. She's, you've started this competition between Deborah and Amy, so just stop it. Amy enters at that point. What competition? Deborah says, don't worry, you win. And Frank says, and if I'm following this right, puts his arm around Robert, you lose.
Could you imagine, like, first of all, let's talk about the violation that's going on to both Amy and Deborah right now. And second of all, could you imagine being that close with your dad? Just something about that.
That is a weird relationship for a father and son to have. Or it seems to be one-sided, to be fair, where Frank is... Yeah, sure. Frank is the kind of dad who I bet was like, hey, check this out, and like held up a Playboy for them when they were like 5 or something.
Yep.
But yeah, it is weird. That's certainly not something that I would do with my children. Show Playboys.
I would never smack them on the ass.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is from a meat sports culture. They follow football, I think, right? That happens.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, no.
This is like, in context, that's normal.
No, that's how it goes. As soon as you see the Jets make a fumble, you turn into a hypersexual 1950s conservative man. That's how it goes. And the first trumpet sound of the that turns you immediately like a zombie.
What, the NFL on Fox theme? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah. That's what I'm referencing.
Dun, 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 dun. Not just a general bugle call.
Yeah.
No. It's got to be the NFL.
Yeah.
It's got to be the NFL.
I do have to shout out Frank here because he has some of the, like, all right, I wrote in my notes, Frank is a villain, LMAO.
Yeah.
But damn it, he's got some of the best lines in this episode.
Yeah. He really does.
He's just like,
Frank is a live wire in this scene. I really enjoyed all of Frank's little interjections.
I also appreciate just like in terms of like the sexism commentary. I think the show is overall in like the opposite direction. It's not very sexist, especially in this like context. Like
I agree, actually.
Like judging, like it doesn't make a value judgment on either of these women, but like about like their choice to have sex or not have sex before marriage. That like the issue is strictly between the people that like interpret their own like their actions.
Yeah.
So it's like Deborah and Amy have been like in the right the whole time, and I think that's a pretty good stance. I mean, like, yeah.
No, I would agree. Yeah. I don't think that like Frank Barone is problematic. Everybody Loves Raymond as a whole is not, at least not in this context. Yeah.
No. Frank is problematic, and I think
that's the point of his character. Yeah, he's supposed to do that.
Listen. If he's this funny, I don't mind.
If Frank was around today, he would say the word snowflake every single episode. Yeah. And that's terrific because it would crush.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
I think Frank, too, is shown in this context as being wrong, which is important. Like, it's the Archie Bunker thing. Like, the character's racist, but everybody knows that we're making fun of racists by showing you this character. Frank is... this is not the most extreme misogyny that Frank has shown. It's relatively mild for Frank.
Oh my god, yeah. Solange, if you love Frank in this episode, watch the rest of the show. I guarantee you'll have a couple of good laughs.
We're discovering, at least at this point, that the show doesn't trade in that many like sexist stereotypes. It really, any like... marriage stuff that happens is pretty specific to the character of Ray and the characters of Marie and Frank. Like, Deborah, I don't think, and maybe this changes as we move on, but is not portrayed as like the nagging sitcom wife, the shrew who's like, making the man's life a living hell and he just wants to watch the game with the boys. It's really specific to Ray's selfishness, Ray's...
We've made this comment before, but like this show is not like... We went into it expecting it to be, the typical boomer humor. Oh, my wife, I want the sports, I want the pizza. But like, it actually, I do think we've seen it actually does have quite a bit to say about relationships between wives and mothers and fathers and all this stuff. It actually, it's... Like we said, we hope we still have this opinion by season 9, by episode 210, because this is episode 41 and we're saying it. But at the same time, I'm greatly enjoying that part of things. It's not,
I do have a comment on that, but I want to wait till we get to the end of the episode to like go through like the rest of Frank's lines, because I do have a comment on at least like the relationships we've seen, like what the show has to say about the relationships in this episode, and then the whole family unit.
Mm-hmm.
But, we'll get there when we get
All right, then let's plow ahead. So Frank reveals at this point, after putting his arm around Robert and saying, "You lose," he reveals to Amy that Marie likes her more because she hasn't been around the block. Amy didn't tell Marie. Deborah didn't tell Marie. They look and ask Robert. Robert sort of has that deer in headlights look. Ray is just thrilled that Robert told her. This is Ray's leg up in the competition. But Robert reveals that he told her, yes, but only because Marie asked, which is such a gross invasion of privacy. They all look at Marie dumbfounded. Deborah's like, "You asked?" And Marie is just like, "I care about people," and just kind of walks away. And then Deborah tells Amy, she puts her hand on her arm and says, "Run, just run and don't look back." Amy asks Robert then why he told her, and Ray realizes, so he'd like you better. Deborah smacks him and says, "Well, you lied, so she would like me better." Ray refers to this as a lie of love. So, like, yeah. Over the course of those, what are 6 bullet points on my notes, everything is completely devolving, and we still have a ways to go. Deborah keeps forgetting what a freak show this family is until somebody new comes in and looks at us like that. We cut to Amy with the just a look of, I don't know what you would call that look, but it's the Barone
Shocked beyond
look.
all recognition.
Yeah.
Shock and disgust.
Could you imagine going to your girlfriend or long-term boyfriend's house being like, I can't wait to make a good impression. Things are going so well. Oh my gosh, I think this guy might be the one. You sit down, you make your dinner, it's finally ready. You bring it out and you come out and you're just like, dinner's ready. And they point and shout your sexual history at you.
Virgin!
Oh man.
Deborah says of Amy's reaction, that used to be me and now I'm one of them. But at this point, Deborah tells Marie off. She says, Marie, just because you were a good girl in the 50s. And then Frank interjects, good girl. The audience absolutely loses their shit at this point.
Yeah.
This is like the powder keg explodes. And we're still not even done.
I think that's my favorite line of the episode. I love that joke so much.
Yeah.
Oh, that delivery
good girl,
was
huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
Good girl. Like he was so good.
Marie admits it. She says, Frank and I succumbed to temptation once. I was weak and I fell for your father's boyish good looks. Beat. That was a long time ago. I knew we shouldn't do it, but we were in love, right, Frank? Frank says,
I wanted sex.
it was a long time ago. Frank appears to be struggling with ED or something, but Deborah...
It was like 1,000-yard stare as he said that line, too.
I wanted sex. Deborah says, so it was just one time before you got married. Frank says, it was just one time and then we had to get married. Again, another explosion of laughter. Ray says, so Roberts trails off. Their plan, I love Robert's reaction to Brad Garrett, sort of like, huh? That like owl look that he does. Their plan was to tell people he was 2 months premature. Then he was born. Try passing off a 12-pound baby as premature. And Marie says, try passing it, period. This is very funny.
Just want to say, a 12 pounds is like a moderately heavy bowling ball. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
He grew into it, and then some.
And grew some more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert starts doing the math. His birthday is in June, but Frank says
They
that's
got married
when we...
in September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank says that's when we told you your birthday was. And then he says, well, there you go, Raymond. You were conceived legitimately. You win again. And then Ray being like, come on, Robert, there's no winning. And then he like grins at Deborah like, yeah, look, get a load of me, huh?
Top. Yeah.
Aren't you proud of me? That's the end of that just cascade of dysfunction.
I love so much when the show has moments like that where it just descends into avid chaos. I freaking love it.
I like every time they revealed a new twist, I was like each one was better than the last.
Yeah.
Oh man, it was really good.
Yeah.
This is like the first time I think that this show has done this. We've seen like twists, like the dog where Patience Cleveland, of course. Patience Cleveland has been mentioned more times on this show, primarily by me, than most of the recurring guest stars. And she was in one episode.
By you, I will say.
That's true. But in that episode where she comes over to get the dog, and then she takes the dog, and then we find out that Robert had it neutered. Like that was a fun twist, but this like cascade of twist after twist after twist was so funny, and it heightened it so much. It's just a fantastic scene.
Yeah. I just it's such a good bit of comedy, and then it's even made, I would argue, even better by the hot clothes.
Oh yeah, the hot.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
So it's this just sitting at the dinner table. It's kind of awkward. I think Marie's pouring coffee for everyone, and Robert asks...
You see Deborah hunched over, tense as all anything, because she knows this is not a good situation to be in.
Robert says, well, I guess I might as well know when my real birthday is. It's April 6th. Robert realizes that's today. Ray says, surprise. And there's a long pause. And Ray starts singing happy birthday. And everyone joins in.
As we fade to black. My God.
Oh, it's that really was like a great episode.
It really was.
Yeah,
I have to.
It was.
Honestly, just a fantastic episode.
They really flexed their muscles with that one.
And for the record, I don't know if this matters. This means that Robert is an Aries and not a Gemini like he thought.
Wow. I'm an Aries. I don't know what it means. It
means you're emotional and analytical.
That's true.
Well, we are on this podcast.
The way I emotionally analyze this podcast, yeah.
Yeah.
We cut out so many I break out into full sobs when we talk about these usually. And
I'm glad that you're the one editing
good
them.
Good thing I'm the one editing. I don't cut yours out.
I know, yeah, I'm aware. Only my rants about baseball, that's it, which is fair.
But yeah, that's good, girls. That's a good episode if you ask me. But was Ray a good boy in this episode? Let's turn to our classic barometer to find out. It's the scale from 1 to 10 on which we rate Ray's performance as a father, son, husband, brother, virgin? Question mark?
I mean, he does not bang in this episode, so that's
true.
Maybe.
That's the one detriment of this episode. There was no good old sex.
There was no good old sex.
Absolutely. In fact, there was actively not good old sex in this episode. We rate his performance on all of those aspects, with 1 being the bad men of television history, Walter White, Don Draper. I almost said Walter Draper and Don White, which is a morning.
Guys. Those guys are pretty good.
They're a morning team in Cincinnati, drive time mostly, but some late nights. And 10 is the great dads of sitcom history: Danny Tanner, Uncle Phil, Carl Winslow, that sort of. Mike, give me one more.
I used Gomez Adams last time.
Yes.
I'll bring him up again. I feel like I should do one more.
Yeah.
I'm going through the animated guys. Hold on.
Kalanji, give me one great sitcom dad of all time.
I'm trying to think of them, but I'm just thinking of George Lopez right now.
Yeah, well.
Is George Lopez a good dad? I haven't seen that all the way through.
I think he's I think he's on the upper end. I think he was on the upper end of dads. I don't think he was perfect. I think
he's probably like a 7.
Yeah, he's around there.
Real life,
gotcha.
And I think I've brought this up before, but just as a reminder, in real life, George Lopez, his wife donated a kidney to him, and then he divorced her. For
I'm gonna say it. That's a 3 move.
That's real George Lopez.
That's a real George Lopez is a 3.
Not the George Lopez who's married to Angie with the what are his kids' names? Max. What's the daughter? Carmen. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ernie is his best friend. This is a George Lopez podcast now. Have I fully described the barometer? Yes, I think we have.
I think we have.
And of course, big thanks to Limbrook University and the Will and Belinda Bates Foundation, no relation, who are funding this project with a generous grant so that we can figure out what Ray means for masculinity in the cultural context in which we're currently living. But Kalanji, on a scale from 1 to 10, where is Ray coming in for you this episode?
So this is as a father, husband, and what was the last one?
Son, brother, virgin.
Oh, man, he's... As a son and a brother, he's pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
As a husband, he's pretty selfish, but he did make me laugh a lot, so I do want to give him points for that.
Okay.
I'll give him like a 6. Like,
okay.
He was selfish, but I mean, I do think that it wasn't entirely selfish. I do think that he actually does want like his wife and his mother to have a good relationship, even though that is driven by selfishness. I think this episode showed that he does want them to have a good thing, and when the cards are on the table, he does blurt out the truth. So,
as he often does.
Yeah.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm going to strongly disagree with that. I'm going to be real with you. like I agree that his intentions probably were in the right place, that he wants Deborah and Marie to have a good relationship, but also he revealed some really inexcusably personal information about his wife that should never be spoken to a mother-in-law at all. And just like, holy crap, I don't think I could ever justify that. Like, like, yes, okay, he told the truth, but did the truth need to be said is my question, because yes, the truth is that he lied to his mom and he set the record straight, whoop-de-doo. However, I don't know if the solution was pointing at his mother and saying, Mom, you see my wife, she fucked. I don't think that was that much better. I'm gonna give him a 3.5 because I think he really I really think he embarrassed Deborah here. I would give, to be clear, Robert an even lower score. I would give, but like that's not who we're talking about here.
Yeah, I'm gonna come in similarly, but not as low. I'm gonna say 4.5 because yes, Ray didn't do anything actively good in this episode, which is what would normally put him over a 5 for me. He lied to his mother in a way that ended up making his wife look bad and causing a conflict. And then, just his conduct towards Robert, turning their partners' sexual histories against each other in some sort of weird sibling rivalry thing is not nice. So I'm going to give him a 4.5. Let me read Alex's... he just texted me.
He texted us from the Celibacy Club.
Yeah, he sent us a video.
You can't play that on the podcast.
No sound, of course. But it's hard to tell because, again, the lens is very foggy, but it's just a writhing mass of something. Some sort of writhing mass. He says, here are my thoughts for the episode. Pretty funny. This family is fucking insane. April 6th is the show's current date, so we're a few weeks behind them, which I think is insane how close we are. True. He says 4.5 for me on the barometer. Ray cared too much about winning his sibling rivalry, even though he convinced himself it wasn't about winning. So not too far off from the rest of us.
I'm going to be real with you. I don't even think the sibling rivalry is a problem. I think it's great to want to be better than your brother. I don't think that's the issue. Yeah. It's probably not fair for me to say that because Alex isn't here to counter my point. But that's I'm going to do it anyway. Damn it. I'm a bad host.
You know what we would like you to do is to tell us the average score on the barometer. But so point taken.
That will land Ray at an average of a 4.6 for this episode.
Sounds right to me.
Okay.
Okay, sounds good. So, Kalanji, that's it. That's season 2, episode 19. Good girls, we've done it. But what we want to do now is ask, what do you want to point our listeners to? Any closing thoughts on life, the episode? Maybe not. That's a weird way to phrase that, closing thoughts on life, but any closing thoughts?
You're not coming back.
While you're here.
The most frequent guest and the final appearance.
With the time that you have left, would you give us some parting words?
Wow. I see why I see why this show has fans. I like it a lot. And I'm excited to see more. Like this, legitimately, I would watch more of this show.
This is the one that turned you.
Yeah, this turned me. Actually, I'm currently looking at house listings in the Long Island area.
Hey, my brother, there we go. Long Island boys for life. Let's do it.
Yeah, this show's good. Yeah, I like the episode.
Awesome.
Catch my books coming to a store near you in 2020.
In the 2020s.
Yeah, 2024 or 5. Okay.
Oh, that's soon.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you could say I was there when this was still like being written.
You can say I listened along several months at a time as the progress on this book was described.
Yeah.
Do you want to promise right now that you'll send each listener of this podcast a copy of your book when it comes out, or at
free.
least Mike and I
will,
and Alex.
I'll put it on the Patreon as you do the $1 thing, and
you mean the Baronis Zonus?
Not a Patreon.
Not affiliated with Patreon. We have
Not a subscription.
We legally have to say that it's not a Patreon.
I'll say this: you should subscribe to the Baronis Zonus because let's just say you'll get access to it.
Okay. That is actually, given the number of people who have subscribed to the Baronis Zonus, giving every one of them a free copy of your book would not be unreasonable.
Don't tell them that. Don't tell them that. We want to make it sound like a cool club.
Right.
We have
Okay.
a lot of people over there.
Yeah.
So
Given the listenership of the Baronis Zonus, I hope you've got crates and crates of books that you're able to just give out for free. Because those two people really want a lot of copies.
They need a lot of them.
I'll say before I go, subscribe to the Baronis Zonus. Thank you for having me. Later.
Awesome.
Thank you for being here.
For us, Baronis Zonus, postfund.org/donate, shop.postfund.org, Barone Zone on Instagram and Facebook, Raymond at postfund.org. We're doing our contest. We've got an ongoing contest where if you leave us a positive review on Apple Podcasts,
Let's say 5 stars. If you leave a 5-star review.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Don't just say positive, because 3.5 could be positive. We want 5-star or more.
That's true.
5 stars.
That's true. If you leave us one before we release season 2, episode 22, so we're saying the deadline is April 10th, you will be entered into a drawing to win a free, probably a t-shirt, haven't decided yet, some merchandise from us, from shop.postfund.org for free for you. All you have to do is leave a review. Pretty good.
There we go. Hey, yo.
Pretty good rhymes. So that's that. Anyway, there's only one last thing to say, I think. Isn't there, Mike?
There is. Let's give it's our classic sign off, and let's let our guest take it away.
In the name of the Raymond, the Frank, and the Holy Robert, in Deborah's name we say, Amen.
No, you say everybody loves Raymond, and then we shout, and we love you. You've been on twice before. I thought that you would remember that. I really thought that you would remember that.
Everybody loves Raymond.
And we love you.
Let's try it again.
Nope. We take what we get.
Deborah!